Welcome to The Courage Effect. I'm Suzanne Weller, and this is a show about growth and unleashing what's possible. You will hear inspiring stories about what courage looks like, how we navigate what's getting in our way, and the opportunities that surface when we choose courage over comfort. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. It's Suzanne. Welcome to The Courage Effect. It is the end of September. It is officially fall, and I am here to roll out our monthly Courage Up challenge. The last month, we talked about learning something new. That was the challenge of getting out there and going outside of your comfort zone, coming to terms with something that you didn't know, something that you'd been wanting to learn, being open to not knowing something, and making that happen. I did this myself. I signed up for a mini course. It was just a couple of webinars and it was really great. I enjoyed it. I met a couple of people that were fantastic. It is something that I had been thinking about for a while and I just hadn't invested in it with everything else going on in my life. But when I actually looked at the schedule and saw that it was also one of the last sessions that they were going to be offering for the year, that was kind of my nudge to get it done. So I really did enjoy that course. It was on coaching skills, something that is helping me to up my capabilities, increase my skill set in my work. So I benefit from it. And I also just love being in a space with other coaches. I get to really soak in that environment and that community. So it was a great experience in that it both taught me something new. It opened me up to a new group of people, and it gave me something that I can take with me, that I can carry forward. I'm hoping that each of you, or some of you at least, stepped in to take that challenge and to learn something new. And I've heard from people that sometimes it's just been about asking questions and conversations with people that they wouldn't normally ask, being open to not knowing something and almost admitting it. A lot of the time we don't like admitting what we don't know. And it definitely takes courage to say that we don't know something and to not be afraid of the fear of judgment from other people. I think those are the ones that have been really quite moving when people have shared those stories with me. But it's also been great for people to talk about, either watching a documentary, watching a TV show on a channel that they don't usually, or on a subject that they're not well versed in, or that they don't usually surround themselves with. So it's been great hearing those stories, and I want to thank each of you for sharing them with me. And on to the next challenge, on to what we're going to be putting out. Today is September 25th. So this is going to be rolling through October. And as we are entering the final months of the year, the final quarter, I have really been thinking about what have I intended to do this year and haven't done? What are the things that are consistently on my to-do list but are on the bottom of my to-do list? What are the things that are going on the back burner? What do I keep back burnering to the point of I need to have a conversation with myself of, is this something that I really need to do? What is getting in the way of me doing it? And if it's important enough to be on my to-do list, on something that I've prioritized, what can I do to make it happen? Or do I reassess and decide that I'm not going to tackle it, that it's not going to happen? And that's okay, just depending on what's happened in the greater year and if that goal or if that to-do item still makes sense for me. But what I'm really talking about here is also procrastination. Procrastination is something that we all fall into. We all, in minor ways or also in larger ways. It can be a pattern that is self-defeating. It can also be detrimental to ourselves because it gives us short-term benefits, but in exchange for that, there are long-term costs. A lot of us put things off, and sometimes it's no matter of how hard it is. It's easy to push the hard ones away, but sometimes it's just a matter of feeling overwhelmed and not doing it and not having the motivation to actually move forward with it. The research around procrastination is quite interesting. There was a study in 2014 on procrastination, and it tells us that 20 to 25% of adults worldwide are chronic procrastinators. And the challenge here is that it can be linked to depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and poor habits in general, poor productivity, poor study habits. it can potentially get in the way of us getting to do things that we want to do. It might lead us to negative thinking, negative functioning. It might risk our mental health. And we do know overall that people who procrastinate do tend to have higher levels of anxiety and poor impulse control. So they tend to react to things, they act in a more impulsive way and in a less methodical way. Let's talk about procrastination through the lens of courage. How might you be able to tap into your courage to tackle some of those things on your to-do list that you keep putting on the back burner? I like to think about, what will it be like on the other side? What will it be like when I have completed this task? How will I feel? And usually it's, a sense of relief, it's a feeling of accomplishment. Sometimes it's freedom, especially if it's something that's been hanging over my head for a while. This is a way for me to address anxiety and not let it steep. And I know that there's something on your list that you've been procrastinating. I know that maybe it's not something that is actually on your list, but maybe it's a conversation that you need to have with somebody. Maybe it's quitting something that is no longer working for you. Maybe it's a matter of, looking at your spending habits and recognizing that that's not good for me. I'm wasting money. I need to have the courage to step up, make a change, and do something different. I know somebody that was talking to me about, she really wanted to have a no shopping rule in her life. For 1 year, she wasn't going to buy any new clothes. And that has been actually pretty monumental for her to really go into looking at her consumption habits, looking at what shopping was giving her. It was really a lot of the time this satisfying thing. And believe me, I love shopping. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it was almost a numbing activity. For her, it was almost something that was covering up the real need that she was experiencing. She was replacing her craving and her need for something with buying something. And for her, that tended to be clothing. So for this year, she's almost there. She's almost been at the point of having gone a year without spending that money. And she has her eyes on a really beautiful leather jacket that she's going to splurge on at the end of this. So it doesn't mean, again, that shopping is bad, but she had been wanting to really reassess her consumption habits. And it takes courage to commit to doing that and to maintaining that. A year is a pretty ambitious goal. I've actually been doing a goal this year, which is 1 in, 1 out. So when I buy something, I'm actually committing to also getting rid of something. And I'm doing that specifically around clothing. So it gives me the idea and opportunity of, how much money am I spending? How many items do I have in my closet? How many times am I actually wearing those clothes? And what is the larger impact, not just on the money that I'm spending on my pocketbook, but on the environment? If I'm buying a piece of clothing that I'm wearing 1 or 2 times, that's not good. I want to think about the larger ramifications of some of my patterns. And that's a hard thing to do, because we're looking at habits that we'd rather brush under the rug, that we'd rather put off, that we'd rather not shine a light on. And with procrastination, it's about getting to a point of understanding, is there more stress in me procrastinating and not doing this than in actually doing it? I also spend some time really looking at boredom. Sometimes if I'm bored with something, I don't want to do it. That's easy for me to procrastinate. It doesn't mean that it's hard. It just means that it's not fun. Or it can be something that is scary. It can be something that is really hard that I'm just putting off and waiting to have the right amount of time for and the right amount of energy for. So I'm encouraging all of you in this Courage Up Challenge, look at one thing in your life that you are procrastinating about and do some reflection on why. Is it a matter of boredom? Is it a matter of anxiety? Is it a matter of fear? Maybe you're questioning your ability to be able to do it. Maybe it's you dealing with perfectionism and wanting it to be happening in a perfect way, and you not moving forward because it's not going to be the ideal way that you want to be able to do it. Let's pick one thing that we've been procrastinating and let's do it. Let's tackle it. And when I say tackle it, I mean, obviously it's going to take on whatever getting it done looks like to you. But how do you look at what it is? How do you spend some time over maybe taking it into more manageable pieces if it's a bigger project or if it's something that's going to happen over time? How can you make it palatable for you? And how might you be able to reframe why you're not doing it, your relationship to that activity, to turn it into something that is an accomplishment, to turn it into something that you can feel good about instead of stressing over? So for the next 30 days, you will pick one thing on your to-do list or something that you've been procrastinating, and you will commit to tackling it, and you will tackle it. I'm looking forward to hearing your stories. I have a few things on my list that I've been procrastinating, and I'm committing to tackling at least one of those. And you will hear about that in next month's Courage Up session. I'm also going to be writing a blog post about this. So you can go to Realize Growth on Substack and you can read about how I've been tackling my procrastination. So I hope that this Courage Up challenge is giving you the ability to step in to action, to moving forward on something that you've been putting off, and to check something off of your list so it's something that you don't have to stress about. It's something that can actually be in the rear view mirror instead of something that's on the road ahead that you're just not paying attention to. Let's all battle procrastination together and let's get some shit done before the end of the year. Feel free to reach out to me with stories, with challenges, if you need support in tackling what is on that to-do list. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Have a great month. Happy fall. Stay courageous and let's courage up. The Courage Effect is brought to you by Weller Collaboration. We partner with individuals, teams, and organizations to enhance leadership, increase agility, and build effective teams. More information about us is available via the links in our show notes. Please spread the word about the Courage Effect. Rate and review your favorite episodes on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Share with your colleagues, family, and anyone in your universe who might be inspired by a good dose of courage. If you have feedback or stories to share about the show or would like to apply to be a guest, please contact us via our website. Benny Mathers is our producer. Dave Nelson composed our theme music. Alex Sandyforth is our administrative maven, and I'm your host, Suzanne Weller.